guys? Welcome to episode number 43 of the Sports Plus Life podcast. My name is Edgar, Mr. A.K.A. Rodriguez. I can't even talk right now. I've been in isolation for that long. I think I'm a virgin again. But kind of good news. Stuff is starting to open up again. Stuff is starting to slowly open up. It's probably going to be a trial run. By the way, episode number 43. I almost left this out. Episode number 43. One of the most exciting football players ever. One of the best hairs ever. The Troy Polamalu episode of the Sports Plus Life podcast. If you guys don't know Troy Polamalu, the guy was, no one was like him. I want to talk about him real quick. Troy Polamalu looked like one of the, probably if you talk to him, one of the coolest dudes, Islander, Hawaiian-ish, Samoan, I believe, and very nice dude. I think he even plays like the ukulele. I'm not sure, but the guy's a monster on the field. Was a monster, retired, championship, Hall of Famer, all that. But yeah, this is a special episode as well. Not a lot of dudes were like him, and he was very exciting to watch, and I don't think anyone really hated him. He did hate one dude. Who was it? Oh, it was Antonio Brown. I think Ryan Clark put it out there and said, hey, receivers are alive, which means they get hit. And it was Antonio Brown that he hit, which a lot of people don't like him right now anyway. So you could tell when someone like Polamalu is pissed off, and it takes a lot to piss him off, you're a piece of shit. That's what old Uncle Antonio Brown is. But anyways, moving on. Things are slowly starting to open back up again, which is pretty cool. I think we kind of hope. I'm gonna let you guys go outside first. Let me know how it is, and maybe I'll follow suit eventually. But I'm fine, man. I'm fine where I'm at. I'm at my workstation. Playing my video games, watching whatever sports I can, listening to whatever podcasts I can, and I'm working at the same time. Definitely being entertained by The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls story of the 1998 dynasty. Chicago Bulls three-peat, I think is what it was. If you haven't checked out my videos and my reactions of that, I will link them in the description below. Also, just you better be subscribed to this channel, Sports Plus Life, on YouTube, and you can see them all there under the baby podcasts. Also, follow me on MRAKACO on Instagram, Twitter, and then also Sports Plus Life on Instagram and Twitter, and then Twitch as well. I'm streaming my video games. I'm getting better. Hey, I'm getting there. I'm going to start stringing wins together on Call of Duty Warzone. So follow me on Twitch, MRAKACO, twitch.tv/MRAKACO, or just download the app, Twitch app, and find me there. Still a little bit of sports to report on. The draft just happened. I was like, almost forgot what I was saying. I don't even say report on, to talk about, because I'm not a reporter. I don't report on shit. This is a podcast you probably listen. You probably might want to listen to it right away. You probably listen in a week from now, and you're like, oh, yeah, this already happened. But still, with some sports popping off, the big thing popping off that just popped off not too long ago is the NFL draft. NFL draft just happened. And that's kind of like what, phase 2 of the NFL coming back. The NFL offseason, I guess, free agency just happened. A lot of big moves. And then now it's the draft. And there was a lot of winners, but there's also a few losers. Definitely wanted to talk about a few teams. Obviously, let me go ahead. Obviously, first round went like this. 1 second. First round obviously went with Joe Burrow going to the Cincinnati Bengals, which was supposed to happen, which was definitely going to happen. I mean, there is no doubt that was going to happen. You'd be dumb not to take him. He was the best player in the country last year. But they had no choice. They needed a quarterback. Andy Dalton's kind of run his time there. Don't know what's going to happen to Andy Dalton. Don't know if he's going to be the starter coming up. I would assume if you take someone number one, they're going to probably play him here very, very quickly or very, very, initially. Um, but one thing is, this is going to be a theme that plays out with anybody really, because it doesn't matter if you're number one pick in the first round or you're Mr. Irrelevant in the seventh round. It doesn't really matter because someone like Tom Brady was taken, what, I think pick 199, one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best players that ever lived. Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, multiple championships with the Denver Broncos. Hall of Fame, had great years, rushing titles, and was undrafted. So sometimes it doesn't even matter if he get drafted or not. It just matters if you put the work in. So one of the themes going on when I talk about these draft picks, when I talk about, any of my thought process or my opinion on some of these picks, some of these teams' picks, the one thing you have to keep in mind is only time will tell. Only time will tell whether or not they're going to put the work in. Only time will tell whether or not, they are, their picks are going to work out. I'm not in the office. I'm not a front office person. So they have different needs. They evaluate the situation, see what they need, see what they want, see what's going to fit in their future. But there's definitely some people out there, you kind of scratch your head and you're like, why are we talking about the future when we need stuff now? And the first people that come to mind is the Green Bay Packers. But we're going to get to that here in a second. We're definitely going to talk about the Green Bay Packers and who they picked. But real quick about the first round, Joe Burrow to Cincinnati. And what I was going to elaborate on, it was who knows if, you can have amazing seasons, amazing career as a college athlete. Sometimes just won't translate to the NFL for many reasons. Take a look at people like Tim Tebow, one of the best college players ever. Vince Young, probably one of the best college players ever. Jamarcus Russell, one of the best college, one of the biggest arms you ever seen coming out of LSU as well. It takes a lot. It takes a village. Just like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Same thing with the NFL. If your head coaching personnel isn't right, if your teammates aren't right, leadership on that team isn't correct, you don't have people to check you outside of the NFL, to friends or family to check you outside and put you on the right path. All that, being chosen number one doesn't really mean shit. If you don't have the mentality, you don't have the right people around you, the right team, the right leadership around you. So there's a lot, that kind of goes into, being successful in the NFL. And I think that, only time will tell. Will Joe Burrow become one of the best quarterbacks ever? Will he put that work in? Will he bring you a championship? Yeah, he's been a winner everywhere else, but, it's kind of easy to say when there's 19, 18-year-olds chasing you and stuff like that. But when these grown men are chasing you, who are smarter, been around a long time, know the tricks and tricks of the trade or whatever. It's very, very different compared to the college game. And who knows if his talent's gonna translate. I do think Chase Young, not right away, but I think in a couple years, maybe a year or two, about 2 or 3 years, you'll definitely see him develop into someone beastly. First year is going to be a little bit rough. Going to be a good learning period for him. Especially going out to the Redskins is where he went to. Very obvious pick as well there. Ron Rivera is a defensive guy, so only right he chose a defensive player, the best defensive player in the country. So that really makes sense. I mean, like I said, he needs that leadership. They're going to need, you got to keep in mind, these guys are still kids, very young guys. But they're going to need, they're going to need help. They're going to need leadership. They're going to need guidance. And hopefully that all works out for them. Number 3, to me, Detroit. Taking Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. Which to a lot of people kind of makes sense. They need to make they filled that hole that Darius Slay left. Darius Slay, very solid CB. I can't remember, and I know they kind of picked someone up. I can't remember who it was. Was it the dude from New York? No. Shit. Everyone shut up. I'm just going to bother. But anyways, Jeff Okudah being chosen by the Lions as a third pick in the first round. You guys know how I feel about the cornerback position. How I feel about that DB position. Did he play well? I think he did in the Big Ten for sure against teams like I don't know what who did they play? Rice? No, Rice is like Big 12. I don't know what they were. They played Rice, Troy. I can't remember who was all in the Big Ten. Outside of Michigan. Michigan doesn't have a good quarterback. Michigan doesn't have a good quarterback. Michigan State, and like a lot of that people in the Big Ten, outside of Wisconsin probably, were very very solid teams. weren't very solid teams outside of Wisconsin and Ohio State. But Jeff Okudah being chosen number 3, and that's one of those things. Like I want to reiterate, this is only time will tell. It's very easy to look good when, one, you have another first-round cornerback on the other side of the field, and 2, you have Chase Young chasing down these quarterbacks. It's very easy to look good in that situation. So I think Detroit probably should have filled a different void, especially with that pick. Maybe a running back. I don't remember. Let's take a look, see what they got, because I think I got it pulled up here. Detroit. They took a running back, DeAndre Swift, in the second round. So they definitely filled that void, but I don't know. There's probably other picks you could have gone there. That's just me. Me in the cornerback position. We don't get along, blah, 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 whatever. But once again, what's the theme here? Say it with me. Only time will tell. Number 5, the Dolphins, skipping over New York. Doesn't matter. They took offensive tackle. Andrew Thomas from Georgia because they need to protect Daniel Jones. And number 5, the Dolphins selected Tua Tagovailoa. QB from Alabama. Makes sense. They're going to need to fill that. They really haven't had a quarterback. Tannehill was a quarterback. Got traded last year. It's been Fitzpatrick filling in. I think he did a solid job filling in. He's one of those journeymen from Harvard. So he's a smart dude. But there's a question mark there with Tua. Will his injury allow him to be the quarterback that they want him to be? Will the hip injury not hinder him moving forward? Because we all know how complicated hip injuries are. Having hip surgery. They say he's 100%. He says he's 100%. Doctors have all cleared him. One of those things where I doubt he'll do very much playing this year unless there's an injury. I think he'll sit the year. I think he'll learn. I think he'll get a feel for it, get the reps. It has to be touch and go, in my opinion, when it comes to Tua. His size will come in question. His mobility. Anyone could look good in a 10-second video on Instagram and be like, hey, look at me, I'm pretty good. There's a difference between that and actually doing the damn thing. But same thing. Who knows how it takes a village. Is Brian Flores the guy who's going to groom him into that dude? Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? Tell me, because I don't know. They definitely did have a lot of picks in that first round. Where'd it go? I'm trying to think of here because there's so much to unravel. The draft was pretty cool in itself. I like the draft. I like the whole virtual thing. Didn't have to hear all these stupid fans. But I liked. It's just me. I don't know. They took Austin Jackson, offensive tackle, as the 18 pick in the first round, and then Noah Igbinoghene, cornerback at Auburn. God, that's so hard to say. Igbinoghene. I think that's how they say it. And cornerback out of Auburn. So filling a bunch of different needs. I mean, everyone's trying to fill needs except for the Packers, which we'll get to here in a second. Well, maybe. I think they were filling their needs. Maybe they're thinking a little bit too far ahead. But yeah. And then also, not to mention, they also made a ridiculous amount of off-season moves as well. The Miami Dolphins. What the hell is this? No. Everyone should. I don't need. Hold on. Off-season moves. By team. Here we go. Who they add? They added. Was it Kyle Van Noy, the linebacker? Let's take a look here. It's the 16th. Get out of here. Let me bring it up here. Because it's gonna bother me. Yeah, they added Kyle Van Noy at linebacker, Eldon Roberts, Emmanuel Ogba, edge rusher, Shaq Lawson as well, edge rusher, Ted Karras, offensive line, Byron Jones, quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys, Eric Flowers, offensive tackle, Adrian Colbert, safety, so re-signed. So they made a lot of moves, and the Dolphins are someone you have to look out for, especially now in a division where there's no more Tom Brady. It's still, the Jets are still the Jets, and then you have the Bills, who also the Bills. I don't think they made a whole lot of the different changes. As let's take a look here. The only thing they did add, and they definitely need the cornerback powers that they added, is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the big one. Josh Norman as well, cornerback. So actually, I lied. I gotta eat my words. They made a couple of moves. Once again, what am I gonna say? Only time will tell. I'm gonna make a shirt with that. Jesus. Only time will tell how everything works out here. The Dolphins have made a lot of moves, and I think they're going in the right direction. We'll see. Maybe they can win the division. It's up in the air now. Yeah, you still have Bill Belichick in New England, but no Tom Brady, no Gronk. You still have Edelman, but who's throwing to Edelman? No one knows who's going to be throwing to Edelman. There's still a lot more offseason left to go. We're still barely in April. We still got till July for something to probably happen. Make sure my opinion, I think we'll be in full swing back, as far as sports goes by July. That's just me. 3 months away, 2 months away almost. I think we'll be up and running. But who knows? Only time will. Okay, shut up, everyone. Moving on. Chargers added Justin Herbert with the departure of Phillip Rivers. Looks like they're going to go Tyrod Taylor, and then they just drafted Justin Herbert out of Oregon. Not impressed with Justin Herbert. I wasn't that impressed with him. But once again, I'm not going to repeat myself. Although as our Arizona Cardinals did select, along with Cliff Kingsbury's amazing house. Did you guys see that shit? They even made a logo replica of it. Guy straight stunned. But I don't think anyone's stunned. Or what is it? Flexed. That's what the kids say. Flexed. He flexed. Cliff Kingsbury flexed hard. But no one flexed harder than Jerry Jones doing the draft from his yacht. That's flexing. Billionaire Jerry. They got in my opinion, the best player in the draft, Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from Clemson, who could play a bunch of different positions in defense. He even said it himself. They're like, what position do you play? And he's all defense. Safety, cornerback, linebacker, strong safety. Whatever you want him to play, he's going to do it. And I like that pick. I really like that pick because the guy's a beast, man. The guy's just he's an athlete. And I watched him, in that championship game, in that game against Ohio State. The guy's a monster, man. The guy flies. Holy shit, I don't think I've ever seen anyone fly like that before since Troy Polamalu. The Troy Polamalu episode of the Sports Plus Live podcast. Come on. Let's go. Only time will tell. The Arizona Cardinals. We want to talk about a few teams here. Had a pretty good offseason as well because they added DeAndre Hopkins, the best signing, probably the biggest sign in the offseason. Also, they added offensive line, re-signing Marcus Gilbert, re-signing Larry Fitzgerald, re-signing Kenyon Drake to all one-year deals. So they're right there, man. I think defense is what they definitely need because they were in big shootouts with the Seahawks, with the Rams, within the division, the Niners. And the Niners beat them up each time. Never mind. But just that, you're this way off, from making the playoffs push, especially this year with another extra spot opened up in the playoffs. So you're right there. Offensively, Kyler Murray's going to do work. You have Larry Fitzgerald returning. You have probably one of the best receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, out there. That's a big tandem. Those three right there. You have leadership. You have athleticism in Kyler Murray. You have the amazing wide receiver skills of DeAndre Hopkins. They added the offensive tackle. They can get in shootouts now and be a little bit more comfortable. So we'll see. Kyler Murray from Oklahoma. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, there's just so much to unveil. New England traded away their pick in the first round, I believe, or something. Yeah, I can't remember. There's so much to unravel here. Cleveland Browns selected Jarek Wilkins, offensive tackle from Alabama. They need it. There's another team who's making a lot of offseason moves as well. Let's take a look here because I don't want to fuck this up. Cleveland Rocks. They've added Andrew Billings, defensive tackle. Jack Conklin, who they paid pretty heavily, $30 million guaranteed. They added Austin Hooper. Placed a second round tender on Kareem Hunt. Added Andy Janovich from the Denver Broncos. And then Case Keenum as a backup. So they're making a lot of good moves on offense to protect Baker Mayfield as well. Give him that help that he needed because, I don't know how many times where there was a lot of blame placed on Baker Mayfield, but a lot of times he didn't have the protection. Like I said, I've said it before, I said it again. I watched him here when he came to Denver. And I watched them zip some balls into OBJ and Jarvis Landry's hands right on the first opening drive, and they both dropped them. I think OBJ had a couple drops in that game. So maybe with a little bit more time, maybe letting a play develop a little bit more by getting that protection on offensive line, you'll see a little bit different Cleveland Brown, maybe a winning record Cleveland Brown team, which they haven't seen in God knows how long. Don't worry, Victor. I'll kick you the money. Get out of my face. I owe Victor a little bit of money because I told him last year that the Browns were at least going to win their division, which they did. They got smoked. Baltimore Ravens won the division. It's whatever, man. Shit happens. It happens. What the hell am I doing here? Oh, right here. Moving on. Moving on to the draft. Just want to break down a couple more things here. My Denver Broncos, they knew what they were doing. It was very obvious what they were doing. And the Broncos, I think, had a really, really good draft. They added a bunch of 4x4. No, 4x4 relay team pretty much. 4-4, 40-yard dashes by tight end, receiver, 4.28 receiver in Jerry Jeudy. I think they had a great draft. And I think, and I would mention the Chargers earlier, and then I mentioned what they've been doing on defense as well. You take a look at within the division. Raiders, Chargers, and the Chiefs. Chiefs obviously returning Super Bowl champions, returning a lot of players as well on both offense and defense. And one thing that kills, speed kills. Because I think their motive, when you look at the Denver Broncos, what they were trying to do, what they were doing on draft day, was a lot of it had to do with Chris Harris Jr. signing with the San Diego Chargers. Or San Diego. I said San Diego Chargers. I think everyone's saying that, so I'm not alone here. The Los Angeles Chargers. They want to build a team, weapons. They want to have weapons for Drew Lock to be able to throw to. I've said this before, and I want to say, I think I said it on the last Sports Plus Live podcast, episode number 42. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Everything's moved. I think I was talking about basketball players. I can't remember now. But everything's more geared toward athleticism. Everyone has to be an athlete. And that's just sports in general. Everyone's an athlete. Everyone has to be a jack of all trades. Everyone has to be in shape. Now, you fight fire with fire, especially within your division. You're going to have to get into shootouts. You're going to have to be quick off the ball. You're going to have quick feet, quick hands. So you go out there and get Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is where they got at the first round from Alabama, I believe. Shit. How come I don't know this? Edgar, Jerry Jeudy from Alabama. Quick. Great hands, great route runner. Very athletic. Second round, Denver Broncos select. Let me find my team here real quick. I can't remember his name. KJ Hamler. Another 4.2, 4.3 speed out of Penn State. And then they take a cornerback, Michael Ujimudidi for Iowa. They all take center. They take a center, Lloyd Christian-Berry. They're one of the best centers in the country from LSU. One other picks as well is Albert Okwuegbunam. Okay. Let's go look it up because I'm not going to mess up his poor guy's name. A former target of Drew Lock's at Missouri. And then, let me take a look here. Denver Broncos. So that's what they did in the draft. Offseason, they piled up on defense. Adding A.J. Bowie, Jarrell Casey on defensive line. We are stacking the defense. And also, we have protection with Graham Glasgow from Detroit. Melvin Gordon from the Chargers. We re-signed Shelby Harris. I'm just saying, man. Last year wasn't that great. I think we ended up winning 4 games. I can't even remember how many games we won. 7 games. 6, 7 games. I can't remember. It wasn't that good. But if you take a look at the games we lost, we were right there with a lot of the teams. Maybe except for the Chiefs. For the most part, we were right there with a lot of teams. We're still a very young team on both sides of the ball now. But now, adding a veteran like Melvin Gordon, you add people like Glasgow on offense. Drew Lock will come in his own. You give him weapons. You add his Courtland Sutton already, and he's going to be in his 3rd year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Noah Fant had a breakout year last year, offensive rookie, our best tight end rookie year ever. And also Philip Lindsay, All-Pro, Pro Bowler. Was he rookie of the year? I can't remember. I don't think he was. They have made the great steps going forward to becoming a very, very strong team. Being able to win our division. And that is, it's purple. We're going to rain purple rain on the division. We're going to make it rain on here, make it rain out here. Drew Lock was four-time All-State, can make it rain wherever he wants. Old school. You guys remember that? No, was it old school? No, it wasn't old school. Oh, shit. Wedding Crashers. My favorite movie. Can't believe I messed it up. I was first-team All-State. I'll make it rain out here. That's what Drew Lock's going to do. Drew, Lock, and loaded. Denver Broncos are setting themselves up for success. And I don't know if they're done signing. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Only time will tell. All right, shut up. Everyone mind your business. I am very pleased with what they did. Re-signed Justin Simmons. I think they put a tag on Justin Simmons. I love the Shelby Harris, bringing him back for another year. He was very key in a lot of those wins we did. We got. Can't even talk right now. It's ridiculous. Watch out for the Denver Broncos. That's all I'm saying. Just watch out for the Denver Broncos because they're becoming pretty vicious. Von Miller is going to sack the fuck out of COVID-19. Bradley Chubb is going to be coming back, sacking anybody in his way. Sports will be back up and running. Don't you guys worry about it. Everyone will be able to watch it live. We're going to run rampant on this division. Even on the AFC. We're going to do work. Believe that. Who says that? Oh, Roman Reigns. Believe that. We'll talk about wrestling too here in a second. My boy CeeDee Lamb went to Dallas Cowboys. I kind of wanted the Broncos to take CeeDee Lamb, but I'm okay with Jerry Jeudy. Speed kills, man. My boy CD for the TD. Great pickup for the Cowboys. Another weapon for whoever the QB is. I don't even know what's going to be Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott apparently can't feed his family off 40 mil, so he's going to hold out for a lot of money. He's doing it wrong, man. We've been through this before. Chargers. Speaking of the Chargers, they traded pick with the Patriots, so that's where they got that from. They picked up Kenneth Murray. You guys know Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma as well. A beast. They are stacking that defense. They're playing. They're planning to do work. This can be probably the most competitive division outside of the NFC West. Is that the one with the Niners, Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks, I believe. Everyone else kind of did their thing. Patrick McQueen going to the Ravens. I like Patrick McQueen, LSU linebacker. And then got so much to unravel. I'm just going to go to the first round. Let's get to the Packers. The Packers selected Jordan Love from Utah State. Utah State Aggies, I believe they are. Very big head scratcher. And this could go either way. This could be, and this is Matt LaFleur's first year as a head coach. I think he's a former backup to Aaron Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken. I got to pull that up because I don't want to mess this up. I need to fact check myself before you guys fact check me. Team's coach, Matt LaFleur. Yep, Green Bay Packers. There it is right there. Personal information by Green Bay Packers. As a coach, as a player. He coached 2004. What's that? Is that what it says? No. Who the fuck am I thinking of? Playing career. No. This is someone different. Who am I thinking about? Anyways. Good thing I fact checked it. First year as a head coach. You take, in the first round, your first pick ever, Jordan Love, in the first round. Usually when you take a quarterback in the first round, you're thinking of for the future. You're thinking of maybe right away. So you get Jordan Love. Initial thinking is that you want to replace Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that was the thinking. Why would you want to replace one of the best quarterbacks in the league? Because even with the team he's had, he still took them to the NFC Championship, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think Aaron Jones is probably the best player. Aaron Jones played very, very well last year, and so did I'm drawing a blank. I am drawing a blank, guys. What the hell's his name? Green Bay Packers receivers. Devontae Adams. You can have Jimmy Graham as well. Not the most stellar receiving core or line, but you do what you do what you can. Aaron Rodgers still has a gun on him. He's still all state State Farm double check Aaron Rodgers gunslinger. He can still throw the ball. And I think I don't know what the thought process really was, because they were this close to being in the Super Bowl. This close. But they got beat up by the Niners. I think that was a tale of two halves. I think they had him in the first half, then they came back and won, and the Niners came back and won the second half, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I was like, 4 months ago? A lot has happened in 4 months, so forgive me. They did in the second round. The Packers did in the second round select. Where the hell is it at? Running back out of, I can't remember. You got so much to bring in, so much to remember, and I had this cheat sheet. I just missed it. There it is. A.J. Dillon, running back from Boston College. Same thing. I think it could have gone somewhere else. Kind of, yeah. Don't know. I wouldn't have taken Jordan Love. I think the reason behind they look at someone like Patrick Mahomes. I didn't think Patrick Mahomes was going to be worth the damn in the NFL. Super Bowl champion, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, all of that. Cover Madden, all of that. Broke the Madden curse. So I think they saw something. And LaFleur, being quarterback himself, being quarterback's coach all this time, saw something that in the future that he'll be able to maybe even be able to use throughout the season. Don't know what the thought process is. New playbook, new system, so who knows what's going to happen. Only time will tell. But still a head scratcher, because you probably could have gotten, they traded up to get him. They probably could have gotten him at a different, in a different position. I still think he would have been there in the second round. I don't think that a whole lot of people are going to beat down the doors to get Jordan Love. That's it, man. That's about the NFL draft. NFL draft's crazy. First virtual NFL draft. I think the big winners were the Dolphins. I didn't even talk about Tampa Bay. I'm not even going to talk about Tampa Bay. I'm sick of talking about Tampa Bay. Broncos definitely one of the big winners. Chargers made out pretty good. And one thing I didn't talk about was the Philadelphia Eagles taking Jalen Hurts in the second round. They are... I like the pick, man. Jalen Hurts is going to do work. Jalen Hurts is a smart dude. A lot of people don't talk about Jalen Hurts because of, he was at Alabama, got replaced, and went to Oklahoma, did his thing. Jalen Hurts is a smart dude. And he... I think they need to do that. Carson Wentz, really, what has Carson Wentz done? He didn't win the Super Bowl for him. Nick Foles did. He's been injured. He's injury prone. Isn't really available for the team. Why not get a quarterback? You're going to have someone reliable. That's why you do it. So, in all, I think the Dolphins, the Broncos, Chargers are big winners. That's in my opinion. What do I know? That's it about the draft, man. Just like I could spend 40 hours talking about the draft here. But once again, I'm gonna say this for the last time today. Only time will tell. In other news, though, sports is on the brink of coming back. UFC has confirmed that they are going to be coming back May 9th. So we're about over a week away from UFC coming back. Now, UFC fight card will be headlined by Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson May 9th. I think they're doing one May 13th as well, and then May 16th, if I'm not mistaken. Here, give me a sec here. Accept whatever. What the hell are cookies, anyways? Anyone want to tell me? Here we go. 1 second. Let me go back here. So Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson will headline the card on May 9th. They're going to do one May 3rd. And they're going to do one May 16th. All in Jacksonville, Florida. I think Florida's been open up for like a week now. I think they've been up and running, so it doesn't really matter. Exciting. Right now, here's the card right now, so we could run down the card real quick. We're already talking about all these fights already. This is kind of more confirming. Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, interim lightweight belt. Henry Cejudo versus one of my favorite fighters of all time, Dominic Cruz, for the bantamweight title, 135 pounds. This makes sense because both of them, 135 champ Henry Cejudo, Dominic champ, former 135 champ Dominic Champ Cruz, 135 champion. Never got it stripped from him. He got it stripped from him because he was injured, so he never got it back. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Francis Ngannou, bangers. We're gonna have to say that again, bangers. Calvin Kattar versus Jeremy Stevens, more bangers. Jorgen De Castro versus Greg Hardy. De Castro hopefully knocks his block off. Those are the main card. Prelims getting a little bit pretty good. Donald Calabascione versus Anthony Pettis, number 2. They fought before. Pettis beat him up. I remember that with body shots. It was not good. Alexei Olenek versus Fabricio Verdum. Alexei Olenek, I believe, is a 43. Was on that card with McGregor and Cowboy. Fabricio Verdum coming back from his suspension. A good fight to come back into. So we'll see if it's rust or not. We'll see what happens. Both grapplers. Whatever. Carlos Esparza versus Michelle Watterson. Bangers. Ronaldo Jacare Sosa versus Uriah Hall. This card is ridiculous, guys. And we're not even through all the fights. Early prelims, Vicente Luque versus Nico Price. Bryce Mitchell versus Charlie Rosa. Sam Alvey versus Ryan Spann. I mean, this is nuts. One of the best cards you'll see in a long time. And the hard work paid off for Dana White. And they're finally going to get sports up and running next week, May 9th. Other than that, I don't think anything else is official. Other than what you see here. Let me go to events here. But I think they're still looking at a lot of other good fights too. I think on that one, you'll eventually see because May 16th, they were supposed to be in San Diego. But I think you'll see Dustin Poirier and Dan Page. You're going to see a lot of fights. A lot of other stuff. I'm excited, guys. I'm ready. I'm ready for the break-in, the break-in the monotony. I've said this before. Break-in this crazy norm we got going on right now. God damn, my mouth is dry AF. I can't talk for like an hour at a time. Like this. Crazy. But the draft happened. I had to talk about it. Did a little baby podcast on Last Dance. And now we're talking about the UFC coming back, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm ready to drop that stimulus check hip. Got that stimmy check. So, I might mess around and get fired so I can get that unemployment check as well. Just kidding, I won't do that. And drop a little change on the ESPN pay-per-view. Keep your eye out, man. We're gonna talk about this next week. I just wanted to glaze over it. You guys didn't listen. You guys haven't heard about it. Now you know. 2 more. So 3 UFC events in 7-8 days. I'm pumped, man. Wednesday night, May 13th, and then Saturday, May 16th. All of them at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Obviously going to be empty, I believe. But I'm excited, man. Just violence. Oh, I'm ready for the violence coming. Good violence. Good violence. NBA is on the verge of kind of reconvening back. The NBA has come out and said that they're allowing teams on May 1st to get back to training if their state allows it. Denver, I don't know if they allow it. I don't know about California, LA. There's a lot of states who do. I think Florida, obviously being one of them. I think Texas. I don't know what I know we are changing as of this week, in Colorado to stay safer at home, which kind of same thing, but they suggest you stay home. Opening more barbershops, a couple restaurants. We'll see where this goes. May 1st is when the NBA is supposed to be coming together to kind of see what they're going to do, how they're going to finish out the season. Are they going to finish out the season? Today it's gone on record that League 1 and League 2 of France canceled their season. The Dutch soccer teams the Dutch soccer leagues canceled their season. Premier League's going to reconvene here pretty soon to talk about what they're going to do. And La Italian League, and also La Liga. Don't know what's going to happen there. So I don't know if other teams are going to follow suit. It's going to be very difficult to get all these games in a matter of time. Especially when things are still not fully up and running. But I miss sports and I want it to come back. Baby, come back. That's it, man. WWE actually did release a couple people. Most notably, Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez signed like in November, December. Did a little thing with Brock Lesnar. No, October, November. Did a little thing with Brock Lesnar. And then a little thing with Rey Mysterio. And that was it, man. And then didn't do anything for Royal Rumble as we thought he would. Got released. I don't know whatever happened there. Didn't get used as initially thought. I mean, obviously this COVID-19 kind of put a wrench in a lot of things. Also, Gerald Briscoe. Gerald Briscoe, old Oklahoma State wrestler. 35 years with the company, got released as well. You guys don't know Gerald Briscoe, part of the Stooges way back in the day. Pretty crazy, man. I want all this shit to be over with. Want us to be back up and running. Sit your ass at home until otherwise. Let's get it popping, man. Let's get back to normal. Let's go watch sports together. Let's go watch movies together. Let's go eat at restaurants together. I miss eating at Olive Garden. I miss eating barbecue. I used to have a breakfast club with my friend Tim. We used to do it every weekend at a place out here, Doug's Diner. We can't do that. So yeah, let's get back to normal. Let's try to do our part. And that's it. That's all I got for you. The Troy Polamalu episode of the Sports Plus Live podcast, number 43. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to start streaming after this. Twitch.tv/MRAKACO. Go subscribe. Go follow me. I'm pretty funny. And then download the app. You can check it out on your app on your phone. YouTube.com/sportspluslife. And then MRAKACO on Instagram and Twitter. And Sports Plus Life on Instagram and Twitter. So holler at your boy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know it's a long-winded episode. I could barely talk. I got to go get something to eat. I'm hungry, so I will catch you guys episode number 44 of the Sports Plus Life podcast.